Hello bookworms! Today I'm going to be doing a video all about the longest books that I've ever read. Normally, long books tend to be kind of intimidating. I don't tend to gravitate toward those if I have the chance to pick up a shorter book or a moderately sized book that I know I'll finish a little bit quicker. But in my lifetime, I have read quite a few large books, and I actually saw that this topic was a topic for Top 10 Tuesday, which is a blogging weekly meme, and I thought that it was a super great idea. And now, a year later, I'm filming my own version of it. These are the 10 longest books that I've ever read in my life according to Goodreads, so they're only the things that I've read that are on my Goodreads shelves. I don't think I've read anything longer that I hadn't cataloged before I started using it, so here we go. So we are gonna count backward from 10. So I'll go from the 10th longest book that I've ever read all the way up until the longest book that I've ever read in my life. Number 10 is Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, which is 734 pages, and I have read this book more times than I can possibly count. It is by far my most read Harry Potter book, which is shocking because now as an adult I really like the third one the best. I actually have to finish my reread and see if I still feel that way. This one was always my favorite one when I was a kid. I got it at midnight at one of the midnight book releases, read it as soon as I got home, did not go to sleep until I finished this book, cried my eyes out, and then once I got to the last page, I just flipped right back to the beginning and started reading the whole thing over again. And I'm pretty sure that entire summer I just reread Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire over and over and over and over again. I loved it so much. I still love it very much. And yeah, this is the 10th longest book that I've ever read. The 9th longest book that I've ever read is one that I do not currently own anymore, and that is Breaking Dawn by Stephenie Meyer. This book is 756 pages. I can't remember if it's the third or fourth book in the Twilight series. I want to say it's the fourth book, but yes, I read this one way back when, and I have since unhauled all of the Twilight books lots of years ago. Number 8 is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, and this one is 759 pages. So it just beats Breaking Dawn by a couple of pages. And this is the final book in the Harry Potter series. Obviously, if these two are on here, I'm sure you can predict another book that's going to be in this top 10 coming soon. Harry Potter has some very long books in the series, but they just read so quick, and I just love them so much. Number 7 on my list is Winter by Marissa Meyer. This is the fourth and final book in the Lunar Chronicle series. I am still amazed that this one is so long. I guess I didn't realize when I read it, because the other ones are significantly shorter. This one is just huge, and even looking back I'm I really read this was really almost 900 pages. I'm pretty just shocked by that. Number 6 is that other book that you definitely saw coming, and that is Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. This one is 870 pages. This was always my least favorite in the Harry Potter series, but when I reread it a couple of years ago, I actually enjoyed it way more than I did back then. I think because I can just understand more what Harry was going through, and I feel like he had the right to be as angsty as he was because no one was really telling him what was going on. So I definitely appreciate this installment much more than I did when I was younger. Number 5 is a more recent read, and that is Queen of Air and Darkness by Cassandra Clare. This monster is 912 pages, which is astounding. I just want to say, after reading this tome, it was so nice to return to the Shadowhunter world and read the Red Scrolls of Magic, which was a nice 360 page adventure. I really appreciated that because this was definitely overly long. As much as I loved it and I gave it 5 stars because I really just love these characters and I love this world and everything, definitely was way too long. Number 4 is another recent read, and that is Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. This one was 984 pages, and not only is this so many pages, the font is so small. When I went to Sarah's book event for Kingdom of Ash, she said that the book was actually over 1,000 pages, but because of the kind of glue that they use in order to bind these books, it couldn't hold anything over 1,000 pages, so they made the font smaller and they moved up where the chapters would start. So normally you have the chapter number and then the chapter would start down here, but these start closer to the number in order to get the page count to be shorter. But this should be longer than it actually is. Number 3 is The Wise Man's Fear, which is 994 pages, so just under 1,000 pages as well. This is the second book in the Kingkiller Chronicles, and I love Name of the Wind more than life itself. And Wise Man's Fear is a really good follow-up to it, and I cannot wait to see how the series is going to end. I have yet to reread this one. I really think that I'm gonna do it when Alexa from Alexa Loves Books reads it for the first time, because I know I'm gonna want to like go dig deep into the theories and just tell her everything that I possibly can about this world that I know. I just love the series so much. Number 2 on my list is a book that I also no longer have a copy of, but that is Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand. This is a really controversial read. I read this one back when I was in college, and I really enjoyed it at the time. I thought it was really interesting, and Rand is just an interesting writer as it is. Unfortunately, the world is not black and white, so her ideals aren't something that can really be applied to society, in my opinion, but I still really enjoyed the story behind it. And Atlas Shrugged is 1,168 pages. And finally, the number 1 book on my list, the longest book that I've ever read in my entire life, is The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. This is a classic book. It is my favorite classic book of all time. I really, really love this book. I remember spending so much time indulging in this. I read it really quick considering that it is 1,276 pages. Truly, truly love this one. So those are the 10 longest books that I've ever read in my life, and I find it really interesting that so many of my absolute favorite books are in this top 10. I think it goes to show that I probably should reach for some of the longer books instead of being intimidated by them, because I do tend to love them once I'm finished. A couple of books that I thought were going to be on the list that were not on the list, they like just missed the cut. The Diviners and Lair of Dreams by Libba Bray. Both of them are over 500 pages. I think Lair of Dreams is over 600 pages. I can't really remember, but they're back here. Yeah, I really thought they were going to be on the list, and then they weren't. I was not expecting Breaking Dawn to be on here, like, at all. That totally came out of nowhere and totally surprised me. Let me know what the longest books that you've ever read are. I always think that's really interesting. And that's all that I have for this video, so I will see you guys soon in a new one. Bye!